All right, who's the GOAT?
Bron.
Oh,
I'm a big Bron guy, and that's nothing against MJ. I love MJ too, but I'll put Bron in that category.
all right.
Personally.
All good.
Yeah, I think in terms of if you can measure individual impact, that's my thing, right? In terms of most well-rounded individual impact, right? Everyone gets different types of scenarios within their games. Could he have done better in certain times? Absolutely, right? I think everyone can in certain times. You look at MJ's early career, hard to say he could do better in certain moments, right? But in terms of deliverance of what you're bringing to the game on a year-by-year basis, and when you look at from 2003 to today, still the same output, no drop off really, except I know a lot of people would say, and I do agree defensively. I know personally, I think a lot of that's related to effort. My guy's lazy as hell these days, right? I think nobody at home is doubting that.
Yeah.
But I think in terms of overall impact and well-roundedness as a player, how you can affect the game, for me, it's Bron.
Yeah, and I think I don't disagree with that. He has a take, but my go, I'll say MJ, and that's because I think when you look about this, when you talk about this GOAT thing, I think people either want to decide it based on overall, dominance or over how much you wanted to win. I think when you think about it, LeBron physically can do everything as good, if not better than Michael Jordan. But I think Michael Jordan was a better winner when it came down to it, So I think he moved his team a certain way that regardless whether we're in nice, good terms, bad terms, we're going to win or you're not here. He was that assertive, he was like a man among boys, he was, the dad among men, like he was just trying to bring a different, setting a different kind of tone. In today's age, you can't do that. People will not even want to play with you, but I think LeBron brings some kind of, leadership, what he does in the community and all of that. But on the basketball court, I think 2012 to 2017, LeBron James was the best basketball player ever. Just the man, what he can, do.
18 too.
18 was amazing.
That's when my opinion changed.
Okay. 18. From 18 going 18, he was still amazing. But that snake Kevin Durant doing his thing. So you got to recognize that as well. But, I think about a game, I'm much of a winner than what can you do, So I think I give it to MJ because it's like, how are we going to win? I'd rather play basketball game where I have 10 rebounds, 11 assists, 5 steals, 3 blocks, and 5 points than put up 25 points, 10, and then we lost. I don't care about none of that. I'd rather be, contribute, somehow. MJ did it on both ends, he was, on offense, he was as dominant as on defense, as dominant, you know what I mean? Like, he can lock down whoever, that as long as the matchup makes sense, MJ is gonna, make you squirm, you know what I mean? So when you look at that, LeBron was a great defender in the beginning of his career, but he wasn't the guy that's gonna make you, if you're KD, pass the ball every time, you get what I'm saying? You're gonna go. You guys are gonna battle. He might hold you to 35 points, 30 points, because some guys are not just guardable one-on-one. But MJ's time, it wouldn't happen. It just wouldn't happen. Michael Jordan will not. And then again, he did have the likes of Pippen and Rodman, to help him out here and there as well too. They had great length on that team. But again, Michael was more of a winner. When it comes to game 6, game 7, how are we going? Oh, MJ gonna get us there. Yeah, LeBron could carry a team a whole season and all of that, but you can only go so much. MJ, you could never say that he can only go so much. But as a better basket, he's a better passer. Driving to the hoop, he's as good. Athletic. He's 6'8". Bigger frame. He could. I think he had a better chance going through 1 through 4 than MJ did. MJ 1 through 3, unguardable. 4, he put you on skates and all, but LeBron can, use the size there as well too. So as a better basketball player, like I said, LeBron could put up the numbers points wise, 28, 35, whatever, just like MJ can, pass the ball better, If we're being honest, I think LeBron is the best point guard to ever play basketball.
Hey, that's my take. You did that too. We both say that.
I've been saying that for a minute. So, you just came on board and I would take you.
Man.
Right?
We came about it individually, but you said it first.
Yes.
But you see, I think because it's funny. We'll go into an episode one day where we just break down everything because I'm a numbers guy and I love video. I love all that stuff. But bottom line is like, LeBron I say since that Mavericks series collapsed, like after that, if you exclude that, if you want to start from 2012 to like 2019, that range, and then compare it to Jordan's, 88 to 98 range, like there's an argument for both sides. Because LeBron took a little bit more time to get there mentally at the NBA level. And that's just based on their upbringing and everything like that, which is perfectly okay to admit. But, I look at the game itself. I say, listen, Jordan is in my opinion, he was a better, more consistent shooter. He could actually hang in the air more. LeBron's quote unquote more athletic, but Jordan could do these crazy things and hang in the air even longer.
And raw athleticism.
Yeah, Jordan raw athleticism.
Yeah,
LeBron, his size makes him get up there.
And he was just
Jordan,
more. Like LeBron didn't get
good.
To that
Jordan
level.
made it was artsy. It was just. Like beautiful, you know what I mean? But
I was sitting there watching against your boys, Game 6 of the 2012 Eastern Conference Finals, and LeBron had that face, and he just went off for 45. I'm sorry to bring up bad memories. I just had to deal with the Suns. 45 and 15, and I was like, yo, that was Michael Jordan. I'm like, that right there, and from that moment on. For the next 7-8 years, I'm like, that was Michael Jordan. I'm like, that. Yeah. And then, so again, I think LeBron's a more versatile defender, but Jordan might have been better individually. Like LeBron could guard more people, but Jordan was just, defensive player of the year 1 year, tons of steals, more of a showman. I think, honestly, something I thought about lately is LeBron controls the rock a lot. Maybe Jordan might have been a better off the ball player than LeBron. I mean, LeBron could cut and stuff, but LeBron sometimes liked to kind of control the shit where Jordan kind of just passed the ball, moved around, got it back, then shot it. So, I think there's an argument. And then you look at the numbers, man, like they're really close. You take like playoffs and all the regular stats and advanced stats and the middle ground there. And it's like, yo, there's an argument. So I still go MJ1, Bron 2, and Kareem and Russell for me. And then, that's where I go. But if I had a one-game scenario, I'm still picking Jordan, but I'd be a little worried if LeBron was on the other side. So we'll get in. We're gonna get Sam back for when we get into this episode. All right,
Absolutely.
We're gonna have to
I want to add for me. I never believed that. I grew up believing Jordan was the GOAT until, and there's a few moments that now stand out to me more so than later, right? Like 07, leading that team by yourself, right? But 2018 is when I had to stop hating LeBron James. That Eastern Conference Finals, Game 7, fourth quarter, you get dunked on by a rookie, Jason Tatum, right? And you're fighting to go to the finals, and you're LeBron James.
Right there after that dunk.
And in that playoffs, you've put up insane numbers, right? You have sung the Raptors again. You've hit maybe 2 or 3 game winners, right? And in that moment, you saw in his eyes, he's like, all right, you can dunk on me. I saw the next maybe 7-8 possessions, ISO LeBron James. Tatum and Brown, 2 fantastic individual defenders, get absolutely cooked, right? I saw that and I was like, I have to stop hating this dude, right? And you look back in moments like you said, 2012, Game 6, right? Stuff like that stands out a little more, right? To me, the fact that he could lead, certain teams so far without having anyone but himself. Whereas, and no shade to Jordan, right? But you look at his record without Scottie, and you look at his record before he really got into the 90s, right? Late 80s into the 90s wasn't so great, right? 1-9 without Scottie Pippen. And even though he was going off, tearing teams apart, you could say it was the same thing, right? Putting up numbers, but where's the results for it? My guy's getting swept in certain times. So I don't fault people for things like that. I think a lot of it is timing and situations that you're in. But like you
competition,
said,
who you playing? Jordan's playing all-time teams, and you're right. And then I used to criticize LeBron. I'm like, yeah, you made it to the finals, but you stunk against the Spurs. You didn't go out swinging.
Right.
But that's what I was talking about with the mentality,
right. Remind me his record. What's his record again? Is it 3-4 now?
In the finals?
Yeah.
4-6.
4 and 6.
4
Excuse
and
me.
6.
Oh, I'm crazy.
Yeah, we forgot about the bubble. It's all right. The bubble.
Nah, 4 and 6 though. But if you look at the numbers, actually, LeBron being favored in those final series, I think he's only got 3 favorites.
Right.
And of course, the Golden State one, right? He stole that one, so he got one up there. But of course, the Mavericks series, he dropped one that neutralizes. But he's got one more than he was favored for. So, like you said, who are you playing to? Like,
it does matter.
It does matter. Ran into, I would say, even before KD got there, you got to put him up there for one of the greatest teams of all time. Absolutely shredding opponents, So I think a lot of it is timing. But like you said, it's so close. And I personally don't even fault people who put Jordan as number 1. I think it's perfectly reasonable. It's just that close that, like you said, I'm a huge number guy. When you dig a little bit deeper, it gets a little bit, messier. So
it's tough.
It's crazy.
What about Leslie? When did you stop hating LeBron?
No, he hasn't stopped.
No, I've been stabbed. I've been stabbed. I mean, let's use the word dislike. I dislike LeBron as a basketball player. I love LeBron as a man. Okay. I think he's cool. I think off the court, he does a lot for the community. I love him as a black man. He does a lot for, everybody, but on the basketball court, I've never been a fan of LeBron James. I've never been a fan of LeBron James, and I'm not a fan of LeBron James, and I'll tell you why. I'm a huge Kobe fan, and when LeBron, was, entering the league, he was just coming in as the king. Hey, wait, hold up. But there's Kobe, you know what I mean? Like, Kobe was the man at that time, and that's who I grew up on. That's my favorite. So if, you're being compared to, my favorite player at the time, they were not even being compared sometimes. It was just, LeBron might be better than Jordan. It's like, hey, wait, hold up. Has he even got into Kobe's status?
Don't let the media convince you.
Yeah,
they tried.
But they tried, absolutely. But you got to understand, I also grew up with
got me mad too.
Yeah, exactly. So it's like, I'm mad, I'm mad. Like, why are you just getting the league? And then, that's where it started, Does
that add though? Does that add, to jump in quickly, does that add a layer? Do you think it's a little harder when he's not even drafted yet, right? And they got you on commercials with Michael Jordan, Kobe Bryant. You're about to get in the NBA on the Cleveland Cavaliers.
It made it hard to almost like him. You know what I mean?
A lot of pressure for LeBron that he handled.
Yeah, I had a fan, and Kobe Bryant, so it made it hard for me to become, But then when I, also. When Kobe and Iverson were out, I became a Derrick Rose fan, watching him from Memphis to the league. So I became, I used to at that point like players, because my favorite were gone. I had to stick with D Rose. And then he was, in his prime, getting, 22-year-old ever to win, MVP. To get, beat by LeBron, it was like, damn, everywhere I go, I started liking, the Knicks a little bit because of my stepdad, but then LeBron, was tearing them up too. So it was like LeBron was just, just like the Tom Brady thing, just beating everything that I like. So I dislike him because he's that good. There's no hate in it, okay? There's no hate in it, but I stopped disrespecting and all of that in 2018 when he beat the Pacers and what's it called, the Raptors. And when he hit that off the when he got one hand bank shot when he swept them, they were calling them LeBronto. From there I was actually in Toronto at that time. From there I stopped hating LeBron. It was like
beat the Celtics.
Beat the Celtics that whole reign. But then he went on.
And game 1, let's not forget, 50-point triple-double really has his team in a spot to win.
But then
J.R. Smith.
Chokes a little bit. But who knew how that series?
He had a weed moment. We've all had them,
Yeah.
It was the wrong time to have it.
Worst time to have it.
Worst moment, But I think, after he won and even got swept, I still was like, I got to stop hating this man. Like, how do you even go through that? Like, sweeping teams, like that year, I'm pretty sure he hit like 3, bank, what's it called? Threes that were all, the buzzer time. One of them was against Washington with Bradley Beal.
Caught it. A layup.
Yep. Caught it.
Turned around,
did it to Jimmy Butler. Same thing. Caught it, against the Timberwolves, and then he went into the playoffs, continued that same reign, you know.
Yep.
And I'm like, yeah, that's the king. He's been the king, but now, hey, I see it. You know, I'm gonna give props when it's there and all of that. But yeah, it doesn't still. I'm still not you know, rooting for the Lakers because of LeBron, you know, things like that. So it's not hate, it's just
Sam
dislike.
definitely not.
No. They can't have more chips than the Celtics.
Yeah, exactly.
What's the count now? It's close, right?
Tied 17.
17.
Oh, all right.
Unless you're a, you know, bubble disqualifier, you got a 16 and a half or a 16.
I go Celtics got it now.
I personally give it to them. I give it to them. Everyone
gotta
had
give
the
it.
same
They won.
challenges. Everyone had the same challenges. You had your teams.
You and I don't
Injuries
believe
are
this,
part of the
Mike.
game.
Don't even make that face. We don't
injuries are
believe
part of
that
the game.
bubble thing.
We called out
Injuries are part
Anthony
of the-
Davis. That's all. You called him Mr. Bubble. I laughed.
No,
Nah,
I think because
called
he's
him-
shown it before. He's
Yeah.
capable of getting it
They
done.
won.
But I think, like you said, like James Harden, maybe he doesn't, you know, fully take care of himself all the way. Did he party a little too hard after the bubble championship? You know what I mean? When you know a guy like LeBron, like if he gets injured, you're like, okay, well, I know this dude's doing freakish workouts and sitting in a cryo chamber and, you know, spending all this money on his body. AD, sometimes you're like, there's no way. You're back from injury and you're injured in the third quarter.
Yeah.
What's going on?
I'll represent Steve again. We were watching Laker games early, and my best friend Steve is a Laker fan because he loves Westbrook. He's a Westbrook fan. So now he's rooting for the Lakers. He's watching the game and he's like, yo, why does AD look like the oldest player out there? Isn't he supposed to be carrying the load? Why does he look like the old man on the court? Why is he looking like a tall Uncle Drew?
Right.
I was like,
seriously.
so he was, because he was defending Westbrook, but also kind of like, it's true. It's like, where's this Anthony Davis? Like,
Right.
you know,
Right.
this, I don't know. Either way, my last point on LeBron, and I'm not trying to take any shots at LeBron. Again, he's my number 2 all time, but I have met a few females in the last couple years that described him on the court as a bitch. Now, right or wrong, these are statements that were made, and that would never ever be uttered by any sex ever about Michael Jordan.
No,
Ever.
or Kobe, or you know, certain other people.
And the reason that they said that was because I think like they felt like he was hypocritical. Like he would complain about a call, but then do the same thing. He would flop, but then complain about floppers. Like, so,
Yes.
and probably Les, you guys probably rooting against him. You probably called that out more, but it's just funny to see.
I can't stand that about him, you know, and that's also another
That's
point.
the tiebreaker.
He is, and you know what I'll say on that note is
the tiebreaker.
He does that to win. He does that to win the game, right? Like we talked about Chris Paul, right? We talked about people like that who pull those things out to win the game.
Yeah.
And even people like Marcus Smart, right? I saw Marcus Smart draw 2 pretty wild offensive charges. One was probably warranted, but against the Rockets a couple years ago, and steal a game from it. And
I remember that.
I started paying attention to Chris Paul is winning a couple games a season doing that. Marcus
Probably
Smart's
5.
winning a couple games. Yeah. So I'm like, LeBron is going to use everything he can.
Yeah.
That's, you know, you see people talking in the refs' ear, they're not even jawing at him, but you see someone talking to the refs every second they can. And you're like, this guy's playing basketball and also a couple other things during this game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's what's getting the game won, you know?
Yo, quick story. I was really fortunate back when the Nets were in New York. I had a good friend from middle school who had Net season tickets, and he hooked me up. And in 2009, I saw in 1 month, I saw LeBron, Kobe, Chris Paul, and D Wade.
Wow.
D Wade did one of the most dick things I've ever seen. He stole a ball, he got fouled, and then from the other team's other side on the free throw line, he took the ball in midair and threw it, and it went in the hoop. 75 feet away. The whole crowd just gave him a standing ovation. Like, what a dick move. Just like get fouled and just throw the ball, like, and he made it. But my point is all 4 of them did not stop talking to the referees.
Yeah.
But they did it in different ways. Like, I brought this up to Leslie. He got mad. He's like, don't you call Kobe a whiner. I was like, oh, no. Kobe was just gaming him. He was just
Using
like,
the ref's ear for sure.
don't give me that call. LeBron was a little more whiny about it. He was a lot younger.
Yep.
I forget about Paul. I'm sure he was whining. And young Paul. And then Wade, same thing. Wade was a little bit older. So yeah, but it was funny. Like you said, man, they're always gaming. They're always talking. They're always trying to get that next edge. And, I can't fault LeBron that much for it, but
You know, Mike did it too. Like you said, everyone did it in their way. You know,
I'm sure Mike did it too.
More intimidating almost, right? More quiet about it. More just maybe he gets his quick 1 or 2 liner out, right? More like Tim. I'm sure same thing with like people like Tim Duncan. But you see that clip of Mike, right? And the ref's like, did he really get you, Mike? All right, I'll give it to you. All right, foul. You know, it's like he had his way too. You know, players use that for sure to get there.
Yeah. It's an era thing. Who knows what he would do today?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Hey, Les, you know what Michael Jordan said when they introduced female refs? He was not very politically correct. You know what he said? He goes, you can't have female refs. I can't slap them on the ass. That's my GOAT.
He's probably paying to get that scrubbed off the internet.
Yeah.
I just brought it back.
Yeah. Now they're going to watch World Sports Debate and find it.